Rob Pavletic from Hobart High School in Indiana, coming up in the 160-pound weight class against Dan Rule from Parkersburg Community High School in Iowa. And this is really a contrast in styles just because of the personalities of these two athletes, Mike Rice.
Yes, when we interviewed him this afternoon, Rob from Indiana, he kind of said, well, I didn't expect really to win a match here. I wanted to call home and tell my people back in Indiana that I won a match. And he said, when I asked him about his university, he said, well, I don't know if I want to go to the Big Ten. They work so hard there. When we talked to Mr. Rule,
he's like a shark,
from Iowa, he said, I want everybody. I was looking forward to winning this national tournament. He has 71 falls on the year and 104 wins in the state of Iowa, which is outstanding. And so here are two young men with different personalities. Mr. Rule that wants to kill everybody, and Rob Pavletic from Indiana that's kind of a nice guy.
Off the mat they go. Pavletic 73-33 in his career. Dan Rule 104-13-1, 71 falls in his career. He's 33-0 this year with 26 falls.
Yeah, he'll go after you, Dan Rule, in the blue.
He said he likes to wrestle a bigger man because conditioning is the key to his game, and they may rough him up a little bit in the first two periods, but he'll get him in the end, is what Dan Rule said.
Well, he's from a typical wrestling family.
And he's limping. He comes up limping.
Right. His brother was a state champ, and he's a state champ, and they're the only two from his high school in Parkersburg in northern Iowa. The Rule brothers said he wants to be a social worker.
And, of course, Pavletic is known as the cradle man. That's his pet move. He has a 3.2 grade point average and hopes to major in biology when he goes to college.
Rule, on the other hand, says, I bar him up and stick him.
Likes that bar arm.
He likes that bar arm, and so we have two complete different personalities here, and it's 2-0 now in favor of the softer of the two.
Rule with the 2-point lead over Pavletic.
Yeah, I should say the guy that likes to stick him. Rule, the tougher.
And he is trying to move right now on Pavletic, is trying the far cradle. And he's got it as he rolls him over, and Pavletic is in a lot of trouble right now. Rule's got to watch himself because he could pin himself because he's leaning over on his back.
And that's why I think he came out of that.
3-point near fall for Rule. He leads 5-0 with 58 seconds remaining in the first period.
And remember, Rule has 26 falls out of his 33-0 record. And you can see why. He went for it right away.
That's right. Pavletic was a state champion last year. He did not win the state championship this year because he broke his leg playing football.
Right. He's Hobart was the state champ in football, so that may give you some idea of why he went out for football. They had a great football team in Indiana this year.
They go off the match, and they'll move back into the center of the match with, of course, Pavletic in the down position. Pavletic was a defensive tackle nose guard in football. One of the reasons he said that he might not go back to football again is he likes it out on the wrestling mat because it's one-on-one. His leg was broken by a teammate who rolled up on his leg. He says, I won't have to worry about the other people hitting me.
The only thing he has to worry about tonight is Dan Rule from Waterloo, Iowa.
And that's a lot to worry about.
Yes. I wouldn't want Dan with his 26 falls this year in with me. You know, it was interesting. Dan said that I want to go into social work.
Oh, he just rolled him over.
Good move. 5-0 for Dan.
18 seconds remaining first period.
Oh.
He takes him hard to the mat.
Yes. That really, Rob Pavletic really had to feel that.
trying for a tilt. And that's the end of the first period with the score. Dan Rule leading Rob Pavletic by a score of 5-0 as we move to period number 2. Pavletic deferred. Rule says we'll stand up to start the second period.
Rule is a tough guy. He was tough in the interviews, and he's just as tough out here on the mat. He said, I get stronger as the match goes along, and he is. Rule in the blue with the red bracelets.
Rule trying to get in on the leg. Pavletic trying to get behind him, but he can't. And he dives in on him after he's off the mat.
Rule didn't have to lose a lot of weight to make weight. Some of the young men, we usually ask them, and there's a 7 pounds here at the Nationals that you can be above, but he's normally around 168 pounds.
Rule is in on the leg. Rule looks like he's very, very quick.
Well, he had an excellent crossface that time trying for it.
Now he's in, and he gets the 2 points for the takedown. Very, very nice takedown by Rule.
Just looks so much stronger at this point in the match with 41 seconds to go in the second period.
We had a potentially dangerous hold as Pavletic had a hold of that leg of Dan Rule once again, and it looks like he's got the leg problem once again. He's hurting.
Yes, but he has a 7-0 lead, and they're looking at that cartilage, the outside cartilage, and they'll try to... the clock is out once again. 2 minutes are allowed. Injury time.
Rule to his feet, and we're ready to go again with 39 seconds remaining second period.
It's got to give Rob Pavletic a better feeling than he had 30 seconds ago, knowing that Dan Rule does have a weakness. It's his right knee.
Pavletic in the down position, trying to get away from Rule. Rule, by the way, likes to wrestle on top. He's a guy who likes to wrestle on the mat. We've seen a lot of takedown artists tonight. This is one who likes to wrestle on the mat.
Later in the next match, Bob Ferrara of Lewisburg, another Pennsylvania champ, is also a leg man and a mat man. We haven't had a lot of them. Most of them have been takedown artists. With all the freestyle experience they have, the leg men have gone out early in this tournament.
20 seconds remaining, second period. 7-0 lead for Dan Rule. Rule up high. Trying to turn his opponent. That's the end of the second period. Dan Rule will go into period number 3 with a 7-0 lead over Rob Pavletic from Hobart High School in Indiana. As we start period number 3, Rule will be in the down position.
The only thing, the weakness that Rule has now, the only weakness seems to be his right leg that is not taped. It's his left knee heavily taped, but the only thing that's given him problems is that knee.
Pavletic still in control.
He's got that full cradle.
He's trying to turn him over.
That far cradle, and he is a cradle man. He said he loves that far cradle.
That's his pet move. There's a warning on Rule for stalling.
Oh, that was potentially dangerous right there. There was a split, and I know that had to hurt the knee.
That had to hurt very, very bad.
Referee was on the far side, and he was shielded.
He struggles to his feet.
And Rule really was he's kind of laughing about it, but that was a pretzel.
He did the split.
Yes, he just completely.
He's telling the official about it too. He said, that hurt.
Yeah, that hurt over here. And that didn't hurt. It wasn't his knee in trouble there. We have 1:20 left, so Pavletic has to go for a fall here. He's down 7-0, and he's got to shoot.
Rule trying to stand up and get away from his man as he goes off the mat.
That was the bad leg. Pavletic knows which leg is hurting. Rule looks really like he'd like this minute and 10 seconds to go quickly.
Rule in the down position. Rob Pavletic, his opponent.
Rule, usually the aggressor in a match. Right now, he's letting Pavletic do all the aggressiveness.
Pavletic up high, and Rule has him in a very, very dangerous spot right now as he gets 1 point for the escape, and he leads 8-0. Now he shoots in on a leg. 40 minutes remaining, or 40 seconds, should I say, remaining in the match. 40 minutes would be an awful long time. They have a stalemate and will stand up.
He had that three-quarter Nelson, and he needs something big now called a fall. Mr. Pavletic from Indiana against Rule from Iowa.
Pavletic trying to shoot in. Rule's in around the waist, and he takes him to the mat. 2 points for the takedown. He leads 10-0. He's got this match in control with 12 seconds remaining. Five seconds, 4 seconds. Dan Rule wraps up a national championship in the 160-pound weight class. Dan Rule from Parkersburg Community High School in Iowa. Decisions, Rob Pavletic from Hobart High School in Indiana by a count of 10-0. Dan Rule,
now that's
the national champion.
That's 2 from Iowa now, George. We're keeping count of those states. Joe Piazza of Dowling High School in Iowa was the first Iowa state champ. And now Mr. Rule is number 2 for Iowa. They didn't have a lot. They only had 2 in the finals out of 13 that came here, but both become national champs.
Let's check in with Dan Rule and Jim Herbstreit.
Thank you, George and Mike. I'm with Dan Rule as the champion. Dan, you came all the way from Iowa. Looks like it was well worth the trip.
Yep. So what we told ourselves when we came out here, we wanted to see if we could compete with the nation. We proved we could. We got a lot of All-Americans. Did good. Feels great.
Strong competition?
Yeah, it was pretty strong. It'd been nice if it'd be nice if everybody came, you know, Pennsylvania and everybody else, but strong enough the way it was.
Was this one of your goals when you started out in wrestling? Be the best at your weight class in the whole United States?
Yeah, I've always. First, it was my winning the state title in Iowa, and then we heard about this and automatically became another goal.
And you just had to do it, right?
You bet.
Okay. Congratulations. Thanks very much. And now we'll be back with more from the Fitzgerald Fieldhouse, the National High School Wrestling Championships, right after this.